Isaiah 47:9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. And I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak Wadash, that want us to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect, pushing the word across the four corners of the earth, risking your life to do so. And that word for enchant, I'm in the Bible dictionary. It's encanto. Encanto, to sing. See, chant and cant, yeah. Cause that's how they do it. It's that Disney shit. They have you sing, and then it's a song. It's witchcraft. All right, it's a song of sorcery. It says to practice sorcery or witchcraft on anything, to give efficacy to anything by songs or sorcery, or fascination. All right, Esau can do this through many ways. Right, these different little jingles and shit you hear when you watch the TV. Right, all these songs by these musicians. Right, the enchantments. All right, the drill wave, the whatever these niggas are listening to now. Enchantments, all right, and it's always been that from the 60s, 70s, 80s, but the enchantments have gotten greater. To cause people to err. That's why they have so much influence over these damn artists. Right, it says to subdue by charms or spells, to delight to the highest degree, to charm. Now there you go to enchanter, the one who does it. One who enchants, a sorcerer or magician. Hey, you watch these damn Disney movies that they try to grow you up on, which I always hated Disney, but the kids, they remember that shit word for word. They know the song. They want to, what's the shit, Frozen. They want to see it, and that's created by a sorcerer. It says one who has spirits or demons at his command. And see, the thing is, you see, our psalms are about praising the Lord and about all these different spiritual topics. When you control the songs, you control, the energy. And that's why we have to make sure too we sing this song correctly. Especially during now, the accuser of our brethren is at work. They're pissed off, or they're being persecuted and shown to be liars, and shown for who they really are. Well, now they're looking at us for every little thing. We're in that mode. You ever had an asshole supervisor, and then they get into that mode where they're trying to find little shit, and they're like, you called me in your office for that? That kind of shit. Well, that's where we're at. Little petty baby shit. I just dealt with that with mine, man. A Bible ball. But, yeah. All right, they're looking for little shit, so we have to make sure that we're exact, because we have a more sure word of prophecy. So all these different topics that we go into, we have to make sure we have the exact understanding on it, the exactness with our precepts. With all our words, we want to be seasoned with salt. All right. Of course, they're going to try to come with more emotional topics. And, you guys were talking about grape? Oh, yeah, it says in the scriptures right here, but this was back then, and then we just explain it. All right, and every Edomite who's came up and the topic came up, they were like, okay. Because a lot of them already know. They studied medieval times. They study that. But see, niggas, they ain't got it. All right, the children of this world are wiser in their generation than the children of light. All right, but back to this topic. Okay, we want to make sure we're exact. All right, somebody asks you, okay, well, you said they didn't go to the moon. This is it. This is the understanding on it. This is what the scriptures say. Bada boom, bada bam. That's why it's good to read through the scriptures daily and to go over these things daily, because you will, make a slight mistake or something. And we don't want any mistakes. All right, but it says, one who enchants, a sorcerer, a magician, one who has spirits or demons at his command, one who practices enchantment or performs or pretends to perform surprising things by the agency of demons, one who has spirits or demons at his command. And that's what we're dealing with, the chief warlocks of the earth. So you best believe that they're coming with more enchantments. Yeah, this new C-hip thing, when they finalize this and come up with whatever problem, reaction, solution, situation, which more than likely is going to involve a combination of a lot of things that we've already seen, like military forces and mandatory vaccinations, which now they're saying that we didn't force anybody to take it. Yeah, they didn't force you, but they make it impossible. They make it very hard. All right, but the Lord is always with his men. So, it is what it is. It's going to be, the scriptures talk about that. An hour of temptation. All right, combination of that and the C-hip. That's going to come. And all this squeeze, this is what this is for them to be able to push that later. All right, but you get the point. Enchanting, right? Sorcery. That's what you see here in the food. It's the witch's brew. Eye of Newt, and that's what you look on the back of the damn box. That's what the fuck they put in there. I'm looking at some jerk sauce and shit. Like, okay, this look good. Okay, and then they just throw some clam juice in there. Like, what? You didn't have to put that in there. They just do that, just throwing unclean shit. And for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Yeah, they don't see me. But all these witnesses are coming out. You're being seen. And even if we can't see you in doing something, or even if it hasn't necessarily come out, the angels see you. And it'll be revealed anyway, some way, somehow. Hey, you fucking bitch. None seeth me. That's a true snake. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. So you put yourself as the Heavenly Father, which is really something, because it says the wicked say that the fool have said there is no God. The fool have said there is no God, but then it says that Esau, they say the devils fear and tremble. So you guys might say it's no God, but it is. You fear and tremble at him, because Esau has a certain level of wisdom, the top level Edomites at least. But then it said the Most High is not all in their thoughts. They will set up their heart saying that I am the Heavenly Father. So this is the pride and the foolishness that you guys are dealing with. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall not fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. A sudden desolation, like I said in the first verse we read, verse 9, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 moment, in a moment, in 1 day. All right, when you look at the foundations of everything in the leadership of this country, All right, they all go back to witchcraft and sorcery. That's why when the queen was dead, let me see. And this is the mother of this place. It said thy nursing mother should be ashamed. When the queen died, it said the breaking of the wand of office, a white staff, it's a wand, it's not a staff, is a symbolic royal tradition signifying the end of the Lord Chamberlain's service to a monarch. And then they're gonna lie about, let me see, I want to go to the video where they did it. Yeah, here it is. Here's all the princes and the lords of Esau and the royal house, the mother of Babylon. Of course, is the checkerboard Masonic floor. You got all these people with all these symbols and that's a wand, big ass wand. And it didn't even really break, he split it, but you get it. And they never actually explain what that is. Oh, it's just something that's done at the funeral. No, there's significance to that. There's significance because you can clearly see this person has to stand here, this person stands there, this person stands forth. This is the left hand. This is the left hand. And this person breaks the wand and then proceeds to step back 2 paces, all of that shit. All right, that's what this place is imbued in. And that's why everybody, you talk to these silly ass women, oh, this is my sign, I'm a this and I'm a that. And when you look up all that shit, right, which that, I wouldn't even waste my time because it's all misinformation, but just the trivial part that's important, right? Because we don't know how to read the stars. You know what I'm saying? The witches, they claim that they do, but it's all bullshit, and we're gonna get to that verse. The Lord has that true understanding because the scriptures talk about that. Issachar was able to do that in the past, and all of that has been lost, man. The sign that's been set up now that's important is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai and this wisdom which has been given to us from heaven, and this portion until the Lord, gives us everything. This is what's important. Yeah, the zodiac goes back to ancient Babylon too. The one that people think that I'm that sign. Matter of fact, because it's funny, man. A lot of these people who be on these little shows, they be saying the exact same points that we make, but then, it's 1,000 people in the comment. Oh man, he's so wise, which is fine. The scriptures say that the doctrine will pour down his rain. The whole style, the beards, the mitris, the head wraps. I'm seeing people walking around with fringes on, and like, okay. But you gotta give credence if you do that, man. Because those things all represent something. You got a border of blue on, you better know what that represents. That's supposed to remind you of the law. All right, the fringes remind you of the law.
Actually, 13th, that's why I hate you goofy ass. That cancer season, I'm that. Me and my pops used to argue, I'm a Scorpio, I'm freaky. Everybody freaky, ass nigga. You go into a Diddy party, nigga, you see every zodiac sign in there engaging in some freaky shit. But which one is the freakiest, though? None of them, ass. No whole ass shit like that. But it's actually, if you're to be totally honest, it's 13 zodiac signs because the moon goes through a 4-week cycle. It takes 13 new moons is what you have to complete.
Well, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna ask, and this is why you could go to AI, ask Google, but you have to do your own research and see what the scriptures say. That's why I say if a man don't have this word in him, he should be of nothing. Let me just get that. I get that next. It says there are usually 12 to 13 new moons in a calendar year, while a lunar cycle, new moon to new moon, is about 29 and a half days, totaling roughly 12 cycles in a 354-day lunar year. The 365-day solar year, see, that's what this place is on. Like we just had daylight savings time, and it jumped the hour ahead. Now, when it jumped the hour back and we lost the hour before, like in the fall or whatever that was, then my supervisor was like, oh, you still have to stay to the regular time. I was like, well, I've been here for 8 hours. We have to do 9 hours, get paid for 8? Yep. Okay. So then it got to this point, and time jumped ahead, and I'm about to walk out the door. They're like, oh, you have to stay for 8 hours. Well, yeah, time jumped. It's been 8 hours, right? It's been 8 hours. the time jumped. We that hours is kaput. Based off of y'all bullshit calendar. And if they want to argue, we can go to the union, all that shit. But yeah, your calendar doesn't make sense. That's why the hours of the day were measured by the sun. The month is measured by the moon. All right, that's in the scriptures. Now, let's see. Google say there are usually 12 to 13 new moons. And you have the first hour, the second hour, third hour, which the first hour is usually about 6 o'clock. It's usually about the time the sun rises up. And that's what they try to match daylight savings time with, because in the wintertime, you lose sunlight. So they try to match it with the sun. And now that the sun is about to be the new year, they're trying to match it again. But it's still kind of off a little bit. All right, it says 12 to 13 new moons. Which one is it? 12 new moons, 1 per year. 12 new moons, 1 per month. Now I say in the scriptures, 1 Kings 4:7, it says Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, which provided victuals for the king and his household. Each man his month and a year made provision. So 12 years, 12 officers, 12 months. That's what it says in the scriptures. That's what we're going with. Yeah, Smackwater is funny, but again, the wisdom of Solomon 9:6, for though a man be never so perfect amongst the children of men, yet if your wisdom be not with him, he shall be nothing regarded. All right, this is Solomon. You have chosen me to be the king of your people and a judge of your sons and daughters. And we know you guys watch us, We know you watch us, man. Just give credence. It's all good. You don't even have to say my name. You can say the apostles, man. You can say my elders. Hey, but if you're going to know you're an Israelite, you're going to borrow from us and take our talking points, man. You gotta put on the whole faith. You got people who want to pick and choose, and I'm going to take this from them and take... No. We have 100% truth. All right, pertaining to things of salvation, we know all things in this book. Now, does that mean we're all knowing? No, it does not. But things pertaining to the salvation and the ministry and the priesthood, yes, we understand. All right. It says, did you hear NASA change the zodiac sign? Nope, we definitely didn't hear NASA. We study astronomy, not astrology. We didn't change any zodiac signs. We just did the math. Then they differentiate astronomy, everything in outer space, astrology, positions of stars and planets can influence human events. It's not considered a science. You don't know it. You don't know it. It wasn't given to you. And then they go in and talk about it. You know, and it's a lot of pseudoscience in this, man, because they'll say that the stars are a super long distance, and by the time we see it, it's already moved. You know, they'll say a lot because Esau has his telescopes, and they watch the heavens daily by the hour. Matter of fact, by the minute. High-powered $1 million telescopes. You got one that was commissioned by the Catholic Church, the Lucifer Telescope, but then they changed the name. All right, let's go to another source. The Zodiac, which Zodiac means, matter of fact, it tells you in here. That's good. And Zodiac was one of the 12 signs by the Babylonians about 500 BCE. So this would be the time about Nebuchadnezzar, you know, and they had their little magicians and sorcery and pride and all that shit. Since most of the constellations through the ecliptic passes represent animals, the ancient Greeks, because that's who redid their calendar, the Greeks, the one we have is the Greek version of the Babylonians. All right, the Greeks did that with a lot of stuff. They did that with their fake gods and goddesses. They did that with a lot of the technology of the Babylonians. All right, the ancient Greeks called it zone, zodiakos, klikos, circle of animals. So zodiakos means animals because they named the stars. The scriptures say the star, each star has a name. Esau, he comes up with his name for them. So we're actually going to know the name of all, you know, man. So this is why you want to be of the elect, man. Because all these things are going to be, you know, and I believe that certain things are going to be given, you know, to the elect, and then maybe it'll trickle down to the rest of Israel. All right, it says, but because of the precession of equinoxes, a wobble of the Earth's axis, the constellations have shifted eastward so that the dates of the zodiac signs no longer correspond to the astronomical constellations, right? Because the sun rises over a certain constellation, and then that's what your sign is. That's what they try to say. But these signs that is based off of, that happened 2,000 years ago, you know, 2,500 years ago. So it's not even accurate what people say that their sign is. Correspond. For example, the astrological dates for Aries are March 21st to April 19th, but the sun is actually in Aries from April 19th to May 14th. The constellations are irregular in size and shape, and therefore the sun does not spend exactly 1 month in each constellation. It's made up. It's made up. Okay, you guys weren't given the full understanding on how to read the heavens. Okay, the fruit of life. Yeah, that's how you know it's the first month. All the birds is coming back. All the birds are coming back. The trees are certain trees are starting to bloom. They're starting to bud, rather. All right, that's why we just stick with the scriptures, man. Isaiah 47 and 12. Stand not with thine enchantment. Stand with it. You say you're a chief witch, warlock. Okay, well, stand with that. And with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast said, thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Yeah, from your youth, from you guys' youth, from the inception of this place, it's been about warlocks, witches, you know, which you know, whatever title that they try to make it as, masons and whoever else the fuck, because it's a lot of names for them. Yeah, the Chinese, they said the new year was, I think it was the last new moon or whatever. But the new year is actually the next new moon. Then they'll say it's the year of the red horse. You know, it's interesting, but What did the scripture say? The red horse been on the scene. Esau been on the scene, taking the peace from the earth away. So how did they, how did they know that? Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators, right? That's what that zodiac shit is, monthly prognostication. Stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Now, yeah, we looking upward, but ultimately we're looking for the chariots of deliverance. They do say signs in the heavens, though. Whatever you can see. But yeah, let these things save you. Let's see your magic now. Let's see your sacrifices, your rituals. Let's see how it's going to go now. That the Lord takes that shit away from you. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before. All right, they shall not be able to deliver themselves from the power of the flame, man. This place is about to be burnt the fuck up, which is, which is great. Because my whole life too, you've had all these damn witches around. You got witches in the church. You got witches everywhere in this place, and witches they can see, if you. That's why men of the Lord, you really can't be in certain places, man. It's filled with witches and it's enchantments, man. It's a lot of shit here. The scriptures do say it though that there's no enchantment against Jacob. Talking about the elect. But you gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch who's preparing your food. Watch what kind of music you listen to. Like I said, I was at a bar one time. This bitch pulled out some cards and shit. I was like, man, it might be time to go. Some weird shit. That just brings demons into the atmosphere. All right, thus shall they be unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. So it's over with. The little magic and the little, they had, because the Super Bowl, usually the halftime show is a big ritual. But this year they decided to preview the Northern Kingdom, which kind of tells me that that's more than likely going to be their next sacrifice. That's why they put them up there. All right. So I expect something to occur shit this year, because Trump ain't waiting. This is his last term, so he can't get elected again. So you already know, they see, seeing they have but a short time, they should come down upon you with great wrath. All right, so let's be seasoned in what we say, man. Continue to chant down Babylon and to bring out edification for the flock. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh B'Shem Awashai B'Hashem Rahakodah Shalom to the elect.